Alright, so this is one of the best episodes of the X-Files ever, which is really counterintuitive because it is an episode entirely about cockroaches. That part of the episode, which is actually a lot of the episode, is really scarring, but what makes it all worth it? Jealous Scully. There are a few instances of Jealous Scully in early seasons. However, there was never an episode almost entirely dedicated to Jealous Scully until War of the COPROPHAGES. Who knows if I'm saying it right? We don't know. So the episode starts with this exterminator. He's waxing poetic about the evolution of cockroaches, like, pass. But then he starts having an allergic reaction and clutches his throat. Then we see Mulder. He's in a car. Scully calls and asks him like where he's been. She's been trying to get a hold of him. And apparently he's gone up to Massachusetts because his apartment is being fumigated. Very on the bug theme. But then we see Scully and she's at home cleaning her gun, and not gonna lie, it's really hot. Just a casual woman sitting at home cleaning her gun, nothing to see here. Mulder tells Scully that he went up to Massachusetts really though because there had been all of these sightings of UFOs and strange lights in the sky. And Scully goes on this long rant about the improbability of intelligent life outside of our solar system. And then he's just all,
Scully? What are you wearing?
We are 5 minutes into the episode. These two, I swear to God. Like, if you didn't want us to be in love with them, why did you write stuff like this? Then a cop comes up to Mulder's window because apparently he looks super suspicious just chilling there in the middle of the night. And when Mulder cleans a bug off the windshield, the cop freaks out and grabs his gun. And we find out that apparently there have been all of these instances of killer cockroaches in the town. Literally everyone's worst nightmare. Mulder calls Scully and asks her to come up, and this is one of my favorite lines in existence.
It appears that cockroaches are mortally attacking people.
I'm not gonna ask you if you just said what I think you just said, because I know it's what you just said.
There's gonna be a lot of clips this episode because everything that happens outside of the cockroaches is just... Scully pretty much tells Mulder that if enough cockroaches bite a person and they're allergic, the person can go into anaphylactic shock, and that's probably what happened to this exterminator. Mulder's like, okay, maybe, and like, lets her go. Then we see these kids, and it looks like they're like huffing manure. I'm not really sure how that kind of drug situation works, thankfully, but we see a cockroach crawl out of one of the like manure piles, and all of a sudden this kid starts hallucinating and envisioning that a cockroach has like crawled into his skin and he's freaking out, trying to cut it out. It's like honestly one of the most visually disturbing scenes in all of the X-Files history. Then we see Scully and she's at home giving Queequeg a bath. So cute. We love domestic Scully. And Mulder's like, yo, more cockroach deaths. And she's just like, Mulder, were these kids like doing drugs by chance? And he was like, oh fuck, you're right, they were. Like, okay. Then we witnessed another roach attack, and honestly, if there wasn't so much good Scully content in this episode, I would never watch it. Mulder calls Scully again, and she's like curled up on the couch reading Breakfast at Tiffany's, like by the fire. Like, oh my god, this is what Scully does on the weekends. We stan. Scully's just shutting down these murders one by one. She's like, oh, that guy, anaphylactic shock. That guy, oh, they were on drugs. This guy, apparently he strained too hard while he was taking a poop and, you know, had an aneurysm. Mulder's like, all right, yeah, sure, okay, fine, I guess that's what it is. Then we see Mulder, and he's breaking into the Department of Agriculture, as Mulder does best. And while he's sneaking onto government property, he gets a call from Scully, and she's at home wearing glasses and eating ice cream. Like, how am I supposed to not love her? I ask you, how? She tells him that there's a new species of cockroach from Asia that's now like in America, and maybe that's like the problem with all these roaches. And he's just like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. The Department of Agriculture is experimenting with cockroaches. And she's like, oh Mulder, I hope you're not breaking onto government property. And he's like, bitch, you better believe I am. I just love them so much. Scully knows him so well. She's just like, Mulder, you better not be doing something illegal. And he's like, oh girl, I'm doing something illegal. And then while Mulder's in there doing his illegal bullshit, he's attacked by cockroaches and just hangs up the phone on her. Like, excuse me, that's fucking rude. And of course we see that he's hung up on her because there's all of a sudden this like hot lady doctor there. She is a lady who is a doctor, not a lady doctor. Her name's Dr. Barenbaum. She's an entomologist. I really shouldn't hate her because she's done nothing wrong. Mulder's the one who comes in here acting like an idiot just at the sight of her. And then we see Scully looking sadly at the phone. Like, you can't make this shit up. She's just like staring at the phone like, what is going on? No. Dr. Barenbaum has apparently been doing experiments with cockroaches, and she has this theory that like UFOs are actually just like insect swarms and electrical magnetic fields and they light up. I don't fucking you know. At the mere mention of this theory, Mulder is both enraged and wet.
It's my theory that UFOs are actually insect swarms.
However, the enraged bit subsides pretty fucking fast as Dr. Barenbaum talks about how like insects are just so honest and they're not pretending to do anything more than be animals unlike people are, and like, ugh. And Mulder's all like, I find that quite refreshing. Excuse me? Scully's up in here saying scientific shit to you all the time and you just argue with her. You aren't ever like, oh wow, how refreshing. Mulder, he is such a dumbass. Then Scully calls him and he hangs up on her.
Not now. You know, I have always found insects to be very interesting.
Like literally, I should take a shot for every single time that Mulder hangs up on Scully in this episode. It is ridiculous. Then we see this guy and he's like watching TV in the dark and we see all these roaches like crawling up around him. Honestly, still everybody's worst nightmare. Mulder can't sleep, probably because his hotel was infested with fucking cockroaches. And so he calls Scully and he tells her about meeting Dr. Barenbaum. Scully assumes that it's a man, but when he uses the pronoun she, she's like, she?
Did he give you any idea of how to catch him?
No, but she did tell me everything else there is to know about insects.
She?
Scully, baby, you are so loud. Mulder just keeps on talking about Dr. Barenbaum and we find out that her name is Bambi and Scully is about to flip a shit.
Bambi also has this theory I've never come across.
Who?
Dr. Barenbaum. Anyway,
Her name is Bambi?
Yeah, both her parents were naturalists. Her theory is that UFOs are actually nocturnal insect swarms passing through electrical airfields.
Her name is Bambi?
Then the conversation takes a turn.
Scully, can I confess something to you?
Yeah, sure, okay.
Oh my god, my poor baby's face. This is like an underrated exchange because everybody's always really focused on the Bambi and the she and all this stuff. But the anxiety in her voice at the idea that he is about to confess something to her about this woman is actually like so pure and cute and adorable. Like, oh my god, my poor baby. He babbles and then hangs up on her again. That is true. Then all of a sudden we see Scully is packing her bags. Yep, she gets all these calls from Mulder. It's like, yeah, whatever. But the second Dr. Bambi's involved, she's like packing a suitcase, like, I am going up there. Meanwhile, Mulder's hanging out with Bambi and they're looking at roach sticks. Yeah, I'm serious. And she thinks that one of them looks like biomechanical. So she refers Mulder to this like robotics doctor who's like in a wheelchair and has like a speaker for a voice. It's a whole situation. They have a little chat and this scientist is like, yo, this roach situation is beyond anything that even like I can comprehend. I don't even know. The town is in a panic when Scully arrives. They're all like evacuating and getting in fights and like losing their damn minds. She calls Mulder and tells him that apparently there's this research facility that's been getting like all of this manure from around the world and that's probably where the roach infestation is coming from. So she gives him the address and he and Bambi like jet on over there.
Now, maybe you can confirm this with your Dr. Bambi.
Jealous Scully is on fire. Bambi stays in the car because Mulder's like, yo, this is dangerous. I'm gonna go scope it out. Mulder gets into the research facility and ends up meeting the guy in charge of the whole operation who is crazy as fuck and pulls a gun on him. Scully shows up and eyes up Dr. Bambi and let me tell you, we're just gonna insert the whole scene here.
Let me guess. Bambi.
Fox told me to wait out here while he checked inside first.
Fox, the audacity.
Should I come along with you?
No. This is no place for an entomologist.
That's right, bitch. Tell her what's what. Scully goes in there to find Mulder, who's like literally being held up at gunpoint. The guy shoots, and because the place is full of methane, the whole building's gonna explode. So Mulder's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. They run, and all of a sudden there's just shit literally raining down. Afterwards, when they're all like decompressing from the situation, Dr. Bambi says something and Scully's just like, yeah, sure.
So many insects don't develop wings until their last molting stage. Perhaps whatever these things were, they had their final molt and have flown off back to wherever they originated.
Yeah, that would explain everything.
Like, bitch. Oh my god. But it's okay because then Dr. Bambi and the robotics doctor sail off into the sunset and all is right with the world. Then Mulder tells her that she smells bad. And you know what? Worst line in X-Files history.
You know, I never thought I'd say this to you, Scully. But you smell bad.
Maybe. There's probably way worse, but this is like up there. Excuse me, Mulder? You've hung up on Scully multiple times, openly flirted with another woman, and now you're gonna tell her that she smells bad? Oh no, honey, you can go fuck yourself. You don't deserve her anyway. Thank you, next. Anyway, so that's War of the Cockrophages. Honestly, I don't really understand or know how the whole roach situation wraps up. Kind of trying not to pay so much attention to that part. Seems like it was sort of some government experiment gone wrong, / also an X-File. We may never know. The point of this episode is just to soak up all of the Jealous Scully, bask in the glory of so many wonderful Mulder and Scully moments. And great news, the episode immediately following this one is also a Jealous Scully episode, which is kind of crazy that they put 2 really intense Jealous Scully episodes back to back. What was the purpose for doing that? Were they really just trying to fuck with fangirls that week? I think so. Thanks so much for watching. Go check out my other videos, subscribe to my channel. Be back next week with another Jealous Scully.